Shark Algo review. Let's get into it. So, right now I'm on the Shark Algo website. They're doing a 14-day trial where you can test out Shark Algo for only $1, guys. All right. Make sure you guys check out my previous video that I did on Shark Algo. If you guys are looking for an indicator that that can give you some extra confirmation, then click the link in the description box below. Go ahead and try it out for yourself. This definitely can help you, give you some more confirmation. Now, in this video, I want to actually go over a strategy that you can use to trade futures, forex, anything really, crypto. Doesn't matter what you trade, but I want to go over a strategy that literally can help you pass any challenge or even trade your own live account. Okay, so but before I dive into that, just like I said, just make sure you check out the links in the description box below. Check out Shark Algo, and then also if you want to copy my trades automatically over to your account, hands-free. That means every time I take a trade on my account, those same trades will be automatically copied over to your account. Just click the link in the description box below. Message me on Telegram or message me on Instagram. Okay, but yeah, this is the website. The links will take you over to this website so you can learn more about Shark Algo. But like I said, I made a previous video on Shark Algo. If you want to watch that, go ahead and check that out. Okay, so in this video I really want to go over a simple strategy that can literally change the game for you. Literally, it's a simple strategy that can literally change the game for you. And this simple strategy, you can learn this strategy and implement this upcoming week when the markets are opening back up. Okay, so let's get into it. So first thing first, what I like to do, all right, first thing first, what I like to do is I like to find my breaker block. Okay, I like to mark up my breaker blocks, and then I like to mark up my anchor my VWAP, and I'm looking for a breaker block break, and I'm looking for a VWAP break. That's it. Okay, well, I'm also looking for a session sweep. Okay, I'm gonna go over it right now. Okay, so right now, so we're looking at German 30. Like I said, you can use this same exact strategy on any asset, doesn't matter. But we're looking at German 30, okay? The DAX. So what I want to do is, first thing first, I want to mark up my breaker block, okay? And how do I find my breaker block? Now there are also indicators out there that you can use to mark up your breaker blocks, but it's really simple to me. So I'm gonna go ahead and look for a low. All right, I'm gonna show you guys how I find the breaker block, and then I'm gonna look for another lower low, and then whatever the highest green candle between these two vertical lines is gonna be my breaker block. Okay, so I already see right now this green candle right there is gonna be my breaker block. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and take these off. I got my breaker block. Okay. Got my breaker block right there. And now the next thing that I want to do is I want to anchor my VWAP. Anchor my VWAP here. Okay. Boom. I got my anchor VWAP at the midnight candle. So I look for the midnight candle. I'm gonna show you guys what I'm talking about. So this is the midnight candle right here. So I'm gonna anchor my VWAP on that candle. Okay. And now, also what I want to do is I want to look for a session sweep. Now, you might not see it, but there is a session sweep. And what I mean by a session sweep is that price came below the previous session, which was the Asian session. All right, price swept below the Asian session. Once I see that, then this is an A+ setup. Okay, this is an A+ setup for me, and you can do the same thing to take these type of trades as well. So, boom. Once I see the break of the VWAP, and once I see the break of the breaker block, I'm getting in the trade. Okay, and I'll put my stop just below that session there, and boom, I could have caught all this. Now I only look for anywhere from 100 to 200 points, but sometimes you can catch more than just 100 and 200 points. You can catch 300, 400 points. Okay, so we would have won that trade right there based on this simple strategy. And as you can see, all I did was just anchor the VWAP on the midnight candle, and all I did was just marked up my breaker block, and what I also look for is a session sweep. And once price broke the breaker block and broke the VWAP, I'm getting in trade. And it's that simple. That's the strategy. All right. Now, of course, it's not my full strategy, but there's other things that go into place too as well. I look at the supply and demand zones. I look at the market, higher time frame, market structure, and stuff like that. But that's the strategy right there. Okay. So if you do just this every single day, all right, depending on what pairs you choose. I like to do this on indices like equities like US30, NAS100, German 30, stuff like that. Assets like that. Those are the assets that I like to trade. Okay, but let's go ahead and I want to give you guys another example. Okay, so now we're at the previous London session. All right, this is the previous one. Now let's do the same thing. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be looking for a high. And then I'm going to be looking for another high. And boom. Now, actually, is that high or is high? Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to look for the lowest red candle here, which is right here. And then I'm going to mark that. That's going to be my breaker block. My breaker block. Blah, blah, blah. Keep on getting tongue twisted on that. But yeah, I got my breaker block right there. And now I'm going to anchor my anchor VWAP at the start of the midnight candle. And now all I'm doing now is I'm looking for only thing I'm looking for now is did we create a session sweep? Okay, and yes, we did. We created a session sweep. Price came all the way above this Asian session right here and swept the Asian session to the upside. Okay. So once I see that and I see the break of the breaker block and the VWAP, as you can see right here, price broke the breaker block and broke the VWAP, I'm looking to get in the trade. Okay? I'm looking to get in the trade. Okay? So I'll take out my risk reward tool here. I'm going to take it short once I see that break. Boom. Put my stop above there. And, I'm going for, 100 points, 200 points, whatever, and that's it, guys. Now, let's say that you missed this opportunity over here. All right, what you could have did was you could have also got in off of the retest of this breaker block. You could have got in right there. Okay, so that's another win right there. All right, so how many trades we won so far? We won one trade right here. Now we won the second trade. Now let's go to the next, the previous one, the previous London session here. Okay. Now, this one, let me see where were we at? We could have took this trade. Let me see if this lined up. We got a low here, and if this at a low. Let me look. Low. So we probably would have never took a trade here because what I will be looking for is a low, then another low, and also there was no sweep here. So I probably wouldn't have never took that trade that session. Okay, so I want to see. Let's go to the next one. So this one right here. Yes, we probably could have took a trade here. Okay, we got a sweep. I already see a sweep here. We see price. You might not see it, but price came a little bit down, swept a little bit of Asian session, and that's the sweep right there. And what I can do is go ahead and find my my breaker block, and then got a low, then I got a low there, and then I'm looking for the highest green candle in between of these two vertical lines. I already see it, and there we go. That's going to be my breaker block. Okay, I'm showing you guys how simple this is, guys. This is a very, very simple strategy that you can do and implement starting this week. And then you can use this strategy to pass prop firm challenges easily. Okay, so I got my breaker block. Now it's time to just put my VWAP. Once I put my VWAP there, then I'm going to get in and trade on the break of the breaker block, and then also the VWAP. Boom, put my stop there, and look at that. You could have caught a trade to the upside. You could have caught 200 points. I would have went for maybe 100 points, but you could have went for 200 points. Simple as that. Another winning trade right there in this up. Okay, let's see if we can find another one. I'm gonna try to be quick on this one. Now there are some times that I take trades if I don't see a sweep. Okay, if I don't see a sweep, sometimes I also take trades. Okay, but that'll be a risky trade. But if you can see a sweep, that's an A+ setup. But sometimes I take trades without the sweep. Okay, but I already know what I'm looking for. You should already get the picture on how I look for the breaker block, so I don't need to put on the vertical lines. So I already see my breaker block. Okay, so we got a high, and then we got a higher low, and then we got a higher high here. So I'm gonna, I'm gonna go ahead and mark up my breaker block, and then it's gonna be the lowest one, and I believe it's gonna be this one between those line there. Boom. That's gonna be my breaker block right here. Okay. Boom. Once I got that breaker block on the chart, I'm gonna mark up my anchor VWAP. Anchor it at the midnight candle there, and once I see price break the breaker block and the VWAP, I'm getting in the trade, and then I'm gonna put my stop above there. And ladies and gentlemen, we just want another trade. I would have went for like 100 to 200 points, but you probably could have got more out of that trade. But as you can see, guys, it's that simple. It's that simple. Okay, you put on your breaker block, you put on your anchor VWAP, and if you can see a session sweep, that's even better. And you just get in the trade on the break of the breaker block and the break of the VWAP, and that's it. That's how simple the strategy is. Literally, that simple. That's all you got to do. Okay, let's do another one. So I already see what my breaker block will be at here, higher high. So I'll show you guys what I'm looking at here. So we got a higher high here, higher low, and then higher high. And then this is going to be the lowest candle here. So that's going to be my breaker block right there. Boom, boom, boom. All right, now I got my breaker block, okay? Now, all I got to do is put on my anchor VWAP. And also, we have a session sweep. So this is an A+ setup, right? Remember, guys, when price sweeps above Asian session, that's a session sweep. That's what I call a session sweep or a liquidity sweep, okay? Once I see that, and I see a break of that breaker block, and then also a break of the VWAP, I'm going to get in the trade, okay? So, for in this case, we got the break here. I get in there, put my stop up there, and could have caught. Did we catch 100? Whoa, this was like 140 points. I would have caught 100 pips or 100 points. But what you could have did also, you could have hold the trade. Sometimes you can hold the trade. You can hold the trade, you know, as long as you want. Okay. So let's give you go over a couple of more examples. Okay. I'm sure you guys are getting the picture, and I hope you guys are getting value. If you guys are getting value, let me know in the comment section. Also, if you haven't already subscribed to my YouTube channel, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button. Just let me know if you guys are getting value, guys. Okay. Like I said, if you guys want to be able to copy my trades automatically over to your account, hands-free, just let me know in the comments. Also, you can message me on Telegram or on Instagram. I will leave those links in the description box below. But literally, whenever I take a trade on my account, those same trades can be automatically copied over to your account, hands-free. Okay. So let's go over another example. All right. So now I already see a sweep. All right. London session swept Asian session. All right. I already see a sweep there. And I'm just looking for a breaker block. So we got a high, we got a higher low, and then we got a higher high here. So I already know this area right here is going to be my breaker block. Okay. Now I got my breaker block. Now I'm going to anchor my VWAP at the start of the midnight candle. And whenever, again, price breaks that VWAP and the breaker block, okay, from the time that I drew my breaker block, because you might be wondering like why you didn't take it here. Well, one, I did it from here. I had the horizontal line here, from here to here. Whatever is between that, that's going to be my breaker block. Okay. So once I see the break of the VWAP and the breaker block, I'm getting in the trade. Put my stop just above there, going for 100 points. But in this case, you could have called, just a little over 100 points. Okay. Another winning trade right there, guys. Another winning trade. Okay. So I'm gonna go over another example. All right. I already see right now I don't see a sweep, so this is an iffy trade, like, but sometimes I do take trades if I do not see a session sweep. So let's do it. Okay. So I see a low. I'll show you guys. Let me put on this. I see a low, then I see a lower high, then I see a lower low here. This is all on the 5-minute chart, guys. I'm doing this on the 5-minute chart. Okay. And all I'm doing is looking for the highest green candle, because we're going to be looking for buys in this case. So if I'm looking for buys, I'm looking for the highest green candle, and then this is going to be my breaker block. Okay. Now all I need to do is just put on my anchor VWAP, and once I see that break of that VWAP and that breaker block, I'm going to go ahead and get in a trade. Okay. Put my stop just below there, and could have rolled it up. I would have went for 100 pips, but you could have got like almost 300 pips out of 300 ticks out of this, 300 points. Okay. Let's keep going. Let's see if we can catch some more. Now I already see a session sweep here. Okay. I see a session sweep here. As you can see here, just a London session swept Asian session. Okay. Whenever you see the current session sweeps the previous session, there's most likely a reversal coming. Okay, there's most likely a reversal coming. Okay, so once I see this, I see a high here. Okay, let me show you guys what I'm looking at here. I don't know why what's the name of that coming up here. Okay, let's go ahead. I already see my breaker block already, so I'll just go ahead and mark that up. But I see a high here, high low, and then a higher high, and I'm looking for the lowest red candle, which is right here. That's going to be my breaker block. And then all I gotta do is just throw on my VWAP at the midnight candle, and once I see that break of that breaker block in that VWAP, I'm getting in trade. Now you could have got in here, or you could have got in right here. Okay, let's say that we got in here at the bottom. If you guys want to get in some high quality trades, what you can do is you can like wait for price to retest the VWAP and also retest the breaker block. But sometimes you can miss trades. Okay, just letting you know. But I like to take the trade on the break. As soon as it breaks the breaker block and the VWAP, I'm taking the trade, because sometimes you can miss the trade and it doesn't it's like sometimes the trade price doesn't come back or retest that that VWAP or that breaker block. So if I didn't take the trade there, and I could have missed it, So if you don't want to miss, you want to catch, majority of the trades, just take the trade on the break. As soon as it breaks the breaker block and the VWAP, just take the trade. Okay. So that's another win. Okay. That's another win. Now I can go on and on and on and on and show you guys exactly, how this strategy. I'm sure you guys are getting the picture now. Okay. Of the strategy and how the strategy works. Now I'm going to go over one more thing. You might be wondering, Andre, how do you know when to get out of the trade? Okay. Well, majority of the times I like to just go for 100 points. Okay. But if you guys want to hold the trade longer and make even more money, all right, then what I do is I usually throw on a handoff VWAP. All right. So what I mean by that is I'm going to be looking for the last candle that touched the VWAP, the midnight VWAP. I'm looking for the last candle. In this case, the last candle that touched the VWAP, all right, was this candle right here. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to anchor another VWAP right here on that candle, and literally, if price doesn't close, all right, if price doesn't close above this level here, or above this handoff VWAP, right, I'm holding the trade. And as you can see, guys, price never came close to breaking that handoff VWAP. I don't know if you guys understand what I'm showing you guys. Price never came up and broke above this handoff VWAP. So that means you could just hold the trade. Hold the trade. If it doesn't break above that, just hold the trade. Okay? So that's how I know when to, hold the trade and when to get out, and when I know when to get out of the trade. Okay? Hope that makes sense. Okay? But let's go over some more examples of when I'm talking about this. Oops. I'm trying to delete this VWAP off. Okay, there we go. So let's delete this VWAP. Let's go back over here. Now, this is a tricky one. Now, normally, I like to see like 2 or 3 candles that close below a VWAP, okay? But you probably would have definitely got out of this trade, but it's you got to understand, how you want to trade. But this, sometimes this can just be a pullback, but at the same time, if you use this can kind of fake you out a little bit sometimes. But as you can see, price came down, right? Normally, like I said, I like to see like two or 3 candles close above the handoff, but this one you could hold the trade if you're confident. That's why you got to know market structure. If you know the higher time frame trend, then this will probably help you from closing the trade. Okay, but if you'd hold the trade, you could have caught that whole move right there. Okay, so I'm gonna give you guys some more example on how to know when to hold the trade and when to get out of the trade. Okay, so if you didn't take profit down here, right? If you didn't take profit down here, right, and you was trying to hold the trade, right? Like I said, normally I try to just go for 100 points, get my money, get out. But if let's say that you were holding the trade and you want to try to make some more money. Well, in this case, remember, I'm going to find the last candle that touched the VWAP here, right? When this happens, when you see this, like I said, you just got to know when to get out or whatever. But you got a break right here. You got 1, you got 2, and then it's up to you, right? You know when to get out. Like normally, I get out like 2 or 3 candles above the handoff, and then I'm out. But as you can see, boom, over here it's starting to have like 2 or 3 candles above that handoff VWAP. So that will tell you get out of the trade. Okay, there's a reversal coming. Okay, let's try to see if we could hold the trade here. Okay, so this is another good example when to hold the trade. You find the last candle that touched the VWAP. I think that touched it. Did I touch it? Yeah, it kind of touched it. Yeah. So that was the last candle that hold the trade. That up right here was the last candle that touched that VWAP there. Okay, and this right here is going to be my handoff. Okay, as you can see, price never yo, like bro, if you to hold this trade all week long and price still didn't close, yo, you would have made so much money, bro, like crazy. All right, so this is for the swing traders out there. If you want to, like, if you can't do this in futures, but if you were trading forex, like at the forex, like you can literally just hold the trade, right, until you see a break. That's where probably I would have got out right there if you were still holding. But guys, you would have made so much money if you would have just got out down here. Like you'd have been up with so much money. So but yeah, this is when if you were still holding the trade, this is where you would have got out right here on that handoff break. You would have got out of that trade right there. Okay, so that's how you know when to get out of the trade. Okay, that's how you know when to get out. Matter of fact, let me see. No. Matter of fact, I forgot. This we're down here on that previous trade, but up here you would have got out of the trade. Okay, up here you would have got. But like I said, guys, you probably would have just went ahead and took profit because you would have made some. You'd have been up so much money. But let's go ahead and show you guys some more examples. And like I said, guys, if you guys are getting some value, let me know in the comment section if you guys are getting value. Okay. So yeah, I'm going to delete that. Let's go to the next trade. Let's see. Let's do the handoff. Let's do the anchor handoff. Okay, what was the last candle that touched this this midnight VWAP? Okay, this right here was the last candle that touched it. Boom, guys. Again, if price doesn't close above that handoff VWAP, hold the trade. That's if you want to make more money. All right, that's what like. It's crazy. Like this is how you know when to hold the trade or when to get out of the trade. If you're not going for a certain amount of points and you just want to hold the trade until something tells you to get out, this by having the anchor VWAP handoff will definitely show you when tell you when to hold the trade and when to get out of the trade. Okay, so that was another good example right there of when it comes to holding the trade. Let's see. All right. So with this one, let's do another example. Let's take our let's mark up our handoff VWAP. What was the last candle that touched the VWAP? Right here. Boom. You could have held the trade. Ladies and gentlemen, this is another good day to hold the trade. You to hold this trade through multiple sessions, trading sessions. You see how powerful this anchor VWAP is? You see how powerful it is? Like it's crazy. It's crazy. Okay. So that's another example where you could have just hold the trade through multiple sessions and made a lot of money. Okay. So let me go ahead and delete this. That way we don't get mixed up here. Let's go to the next trade example that we did earlier. Now let's do another handoff with the VWAP. What was the last candle that touched this VWAP? Was this one right here? And yeah, you would have probably hold the trade right here. You probably would have, if you didn't get it out here, then you would have known for sure to get out around this range. I don't know how many points that was. How many points? If you got out right there, if you was trying to hold the trade, you literally would have got out at 100 points. That's normally where I used to get out. I go for 100 points and I'm out. But if you'd have waited, if you were trying to hold the trade and price came back up and closed above that VWAP, you would at least caught 100 points. Okay. So that's another good example. I hope you guys are getting some value, guys. You gotta rewatch this video, rewatch it. Okay. Let's see if we can get another example here. Okay. What was the last candle that touched this VWAP? It was this one right here. Okay. Look at that. You'd have caught if you was holding the trade, price over here broke below that handoff, and it was like 2 or 3 candles. Remember, I like to see 2 or 3 candles that close below the handoff. That's when I know, okay, it's time to get out of this trade. Okay, so you probably would have got out, depending on where you would have got out. You'd have still been up like 200 points almost. You'd have ladies and gentlemen, you'd have been up almost 200 points by getting out at that level. If you didn't get out of the trade up here, which you would have been up almost 400 points. That's crazy. Like you would have still caught, if you were looking to get out of the trade on the handoff break, you would have caught at least 200 points. So, let's see. Do we have another example? That's it, guys. You guys get the picture. I hope you guys got a lot of value. You guys, like I said, guys, if you guys want to copy my trades automatically over to your account, hands-free, all you got to do is just reach out to me or click the link in the description box below. You can message me on Telegram. You can message me on Instagram and just let me know, hey, Andre, I want to copy your trades. And then, like I said, don't forget, if you guys want to, if you need an indicator for extra confirmation, I'm using Shark Algo indicator, and you can try that indicator out for 14 days for only $1, so you can't beat it. And yeah, that's it, guys. Just let me know if you guys got value. If you did get value, let me know in the comment section. Also, and if you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. If you're here watching this on Instagram, show me some love.